Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome again. This is the Envision, the future of the CSP program, a partnership between CSP and Envision Incorporated. My name is Desmond Jackson, and I'm a moderator for today's webinar. I'm also the CSP mentor. So basically, our CSP program, you'll probably hear quite a few acronyms tonight, but that's the College Success Program that's now under Envision. And as I said, I'm a mentor in the program, which means that as mentors, we are paired with blind and visually impaired college students to work with them in their academic affairs, anything dealing with life as a college student. I particularly enjoy this because, well, frankly, I enjoy being a professional student. No, not really, but it's a way to give back, frankly, in a way that I didn't have mentoring when I was a student. And so it's
Start my video, Alt plus V button.
Certainly.
Stop my video, Alt plus V button. Video settings, closed, open part, more options, open chat panel, Alt plus.
Everybody's got their jaws going, so okay. So it's been a joy to just engage in mutual problem solving with mentees and
Video settings button menu.
to just be that sounding board when a person needs help with strategies to advocate for maybe an accommodation in college and things of that nature. So it's really anything kind of goes college related, and being a blind or visually impaired person as a mentor in this program. So before we get started, I want to share some housekeeping items. So we'll keep everyone on mute until the end when we'll have Q&A. And so we'll, at that point, we will allow you to, type into the chat box. We'll ask you to do that, or to raise your hand, and then we'll acknowledge you to ask a question. Okay, and so we'll have reminders of the commands and stuff on how that's done at that time. Okay. So again, today we'll be talking about the College Success Program and its recent acquisition by Envision. And to do that, we'll hear from some great speakers affiliated with Envision and the CSP program. All right, so first we will have Mary Alexander, Senior Director for Vocational Rehabilitation and Programs and Director of the College Success Program at Envision. Mary, did you know? I don't know, I can help it. It's holiday time. So Mary has worked for more than 20 years to build programs that assist students who are blind in finding access to their education, jobs, and fulfilling lives. She has worked with schools, state and federal partners, and other nonprofit organizations to raise awareness of the need for accessible instructional materials and research-based delivery models. Previously, Mary served as a trustee of the governing board of the trustees for the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired for 12 years. Her youngest child is an active young man who is blind and who has cerebral palsy and attends West Texas A&M, working on a business degree. All right, Mary, welcome.
Thank you, Desmond. You're doing great. We love to spotlight our mentors on webinars, and Desmond has done several webinars for us. He always does just such a great job. So thank you again, Desmond. I appreciate it. I wanted to tell you just very briefly about our acquisition or our transfer over to Envision. We're very, very fortunate to be a part of the Envision family. Envision is the second largest agency that provides jobs for people who are blind or have low vision. I'm very proud to have the CSP be a part of them. Where when you look at the structure of things at Envision, we're a part of the Workforce Innovation Center, and Karyn Page, the Vice President of Innovation at Envision, is going to talk more about that later. But I wanted to give you a really very brief background of the College Success Program and how it started. Originally, Learning Ally created the College Success Program in partnership with an organization called the Lavelle Fund for the Blind. Lavelle has been a very generous partner of ours. They funded this initial research in 2013 and then have funded us around operations, originally with the pilot and then funding the full operation of the program. We could not have done it without Lavelle, without Reader's Digest Partners for Sight, without several other private foundations. They've believed in what we are doing and have been generous to us. And so we're very appreciative of them. Our research looked at the experience that college students who are blind or have low vision experienced in 2013. They followed approximately 20 students and interviewed professors, interviewed the students, interviewed their parents, their families, anyone who came into contact with these students. It was a pretty broad and very in-depth research. And so we came about with findings, and those findings helped us create the program that you can see today. One of the findings, which is really important and it is just kind of basic to our program, is that students have to arrive at college prepared to direct their own learning. Understanding how you learn, understanding why your vision impairment requires you to work and to learn in a certain way. And you have to be able to communicate that, especially to a college professor or to a disability service office. It's really important. The second finding, which is also a component of the College Success Program now, is around the isolation that a student can face in college. You can face it in the classroom where possibly materials are shared out that are not accessible to you. They have a lot of imagery in them, or it's a PowerPoint that is not explained. There's a lot of ways a student can be totally isolated in the classroom and not get the value of their education. But there's also a social isolation that can happen. And it can be painful and it can be a really strong reason why our students are not graduating at the same rates as their sighted peers. Third, and this is a really big one, students who are blind or have low vision have to know what types of technology to use at the right time. There are things you can't do on a smartphone, and you shouldn't try to do them on a smartphone. You should try to use maybe one of your other pieces of technology to do that. Our mentors, our curriculum, our community events, all circle back around all of these findings in the research and try to support our students in a virtual way around their needs according to the research. You can look on our website. It's collegesuccessbvi.org. It's open to anyone to look at the materials, but to request a mentor or to go any deeper in the program, we do ask that you join the program. You can do that right on the website. It's very, very easy. So because we created the program to address these things, we also wanted to be sure that the program could provide the help needed when the student needs it. Students, especially college students, are very prone to doing a lot of studying at times that probably wouldn't fit into 8 to 5. And so we wanted our program to be online. We wanted it to always be available. And we knew we wanted to have a mentor component. The mentor component is probably one of the most important pieces of our program. It's certainly the most valuable. It's where students get the most value. And so I would encourage any students that are out there, please, if you haven't already signed up or requested a mentor, you really need to do it. Try it at least for a semester and you'll see the difference it'll make in your education. I'm going to stop there, Desmond. So I'll let you go on with the webinar. I really appreciate everyone who's on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and we appreciate your leadership, and I certainly, as a mentor, have enjoyed working with you among the other staff over the past year.
Thank you, Desmond.
All right, yeah. Next, we'll hear from Karyn Page. Karyn is a Vice President of Innovation at Envision. Karyn has a contagious enthusiasm and pioneering vision that drives her mission to establish career pathways for the BVI community that create independence and professional success, while contributing to innovation workforce solutions for companies around the world. Karyn received a global MBA from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., and essayed in Barcelona, Spain. She graduated from Wichita State University with a Bachelor's of Business Administration. Karyn joined Envision after serving as the president and CEO of the Kansas Global Trade Center Incorporated for more than 16 years. She is currently the chair of the Committee on Academic Programs, Student Success, and Faculty for the Dean's Advisory Board of the West Franklin Barton School of Business at Wichita State University. She also sits on the board of directors for the Wichita Chamber of Commerce and the Wichita Airport Advisory Board. Karyn enjoys authentic conversation, mastering a recipe, global travel, reading just about anything, and is a skilled crochet enthusiast. Karyn, welcome. And
thanks, Desmond. So I modified that bio for CSP for this webinar, and it's the first time I've heard it out loud. So great job delivering that. I think it's all right. Thanks for working with the material that we provided. So I think it's a bit ironic. My job today is to talk about Envision and a little bit about the history of Envision. And I've been here for since July 1st. So I don't have a lot of history with Envision, but I did do my homework. So Envision is almost 90 years old. We started in 1933. It was actually started by a group of business people, which I think is so cool because if you think about, we started with some business people providing employment services for people who are blind or low vision. And what we do today is still work in the business community. So I really like the beginning story of that. Over the years, we've added services and locations. So for example, we started out, I think like a lot of our sister agencies who are companies that help people who are blind or low vision, we started out making a simple manufactured item. In the case of Envision, it was brooms. We also had a hand in helping with World War I and World War II, helping make pillowcases and some other items. So I thought that was interesting. When I did my homework, I was like, oh, that's cool. I love that we did that. And if you haven't been to Wichita, Kansas before, here's why that was so important to me. Wichita, Kansas is known as the air capital of the world because we make more airplanes and airplane parts than any other city in the world per capita. So aviation and aircraft is something that's kind of part of our cultural DNA in Wichita, and I grew up here. So when I saw that connection to helping with the war efforts, I was really happy about it. We also, a few years ago, we acquired the Dallas Lighthouse. And so we have manufacturing facilities in Wichita, Kansas. We mostly manufacture plastic bags that we sell to the U.S. military and U.S. government offices in Wichita. And in Dallas, we have an array of products that we manufacture, including some sewing and some folder making and some printing, We also have print services at the Wichita facility. Between the two locations, we employ over 500 people, and about 200 of those at least are blind or low vision. So we have a really high number of folks who are blind or low vision. We are an Ability One services contractor, and if you're not familiar with Ability One, this is part of the federal government law that says, okay, if you're an agency or an arm of the military, we want you to actually buy from certain types of organizations. Could be a small business or could be a disability services organization, as an example. So Ability One is the section of the U.S. federal law that says, okay, guys, you have to buy from these agencies who manufacture these products that you need to buy anyway, and they, and in our case, employ people who are blind or low vision. So being an Ability One contractor is a wonderful opportunity for Envision, and it helps us employ lots of folks. I think that's an important aspect. Not every agency has that. We also have 16 base supply centers that are in 10 states around the nation. And then, of course, as you know, earlier this year in October, we were able to acquire the College Success Program. And it's such a wonderful addition to the Envision full array of products. So I like to say that we at Envision, we have services for birth to the wisest people on the planet. So from birth to the people who are elderly. And one example of that, we tried to choose an item that, or a service that was really close to CSP than the others. And so we have Hannah here today to talk about Level Up, which is for our high school students. I won't steal Hannah's thunder, but before Hannah goes, let me just say that I started, I think, as I said already, in July 1st of this year. And my job at WIC is to make sure that we have career paths, professional career paths for our community. And that will take the many forms, but it could be call center jobs that we have now. We also have are developing with Wichita State University Technical College careers in the kitchen for culinary skills. And then we're also looking at placement as a service. So being able to place folks in certain jobs. We currently do contract work and provide digital accessibility, and Mika will actually talk about that a little bit more detail later. So Desmond, I gave a really brief history. I have like 3 pages of notes. I can send them to you. I'm kidding, I won't send them to you. But I think that gave a good overview of the services that we offer. It's a great place to be, and I'm so thrilled to welcome CSP to the Envision team, and really thrilled that I get to work directly with all of you. One last thing, the mentor program is the absolute best. There's so many organizations, companies, associations around the nation and around the world who've been trying to figure out a successful mentor program. And I'm talking about from any industry. And so the fact that you figured, that CSP said, we're going to make this part of the service array is really significant, because it's very successful and very highly valuable. And I'm so excited to be able to work with you. Desmond, anything else that I can go over for you? You just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Karyn. And, I was going to say, wow, is that it? Is that all that's going on? No, that's awesome.
I just gave you the highlights. I didn't really talk about all the stuff that Envision does. It's so much. It took me almost 5 months to actually get my head really wrapped around all the services that Envision offers. And then last week I went to National Industries for the Blind conference, where they did some orientation, and then started to get my head wrapped around all the other services that are offered in all of the other agencies. So it's quite a bit. But we have anything from an early childhood daycare that completely incorporates children who are blind or low vision with typically sighted kids, and it's an amazing result. So it's the only one in the nation. To an arts program, we're soon, don't tell anyone, but we're going to have an art gallery that features the artwork of our community as well, coming up soon. So those are just some highlights, the things that I just ran into today.
Desmond, I should probably also tell you, I forgot, Karyn, one of the main reasons our partnership with Envision is so important is because after a student graduates from college, which we help them do, right? Then we are building these job placement pieces that we so badly needed to be able to help with that continuum. We want our students not to just feel great that they graduated and they have a college degree. We want them to feel great because they got a great job and they are paid a good wage that allows them to have an independent and a fulfilling life, you know, as they see it. But it's a really, really good continuum. And as you know, the College Success Program is always looking for ways to better themselves. And so we're going to go younger as well and create programs for parents and TVIs to have a little bit more impact around students before they get to college, so that maybe we can help with that piece as well, with the transition piece. So I'll be quiet now. Sorry.
Mary, thank you for that. I should emphasize that the career paths, one of the direct links that we see is we see the College Success Program mentees and mentors as potential candidates for placement. And I'll just give you a quick example. So a friend of mine in the Wichita area, one of really a high quality influential person called me last week and said, Karyn, can you do placement? Can you refer someone who is low vision? Because I have an opening coming up. So this is outside of Envision. So we have, on a fairly regular basis, jobs inside of Envision, but this is outside of Envision. So this would be an entry-level career for someone who has, maybe a bachelor's degree. And what's really important about that is we have to create career paths that are outside the blind and visually impaired industry network. We have to go outside. We have to go, kind of mainstream is the only way I know how to think of it. And so that's my job at WIC, and our job at WIC is to find those opportunities and to create a career path in the system for you. So one of the things that the Workforce Innovation Center or WIC team and the CSP team are going to be working on is actually finding what that process is so that we can get the job opportunities out to you, career path opportunities out to you, and vice versa, what you're looking for. And so I'm really looking forward to putting those things together. And just to conclude that thought, I want to make sure if there are any of our mentors or mentees who would like to be a part of that process or would just like to give us some feedback on what you want, what you're looking for, what you'd like to see, I have absolutely an open door. Love to hear from you and have you help with that process. And now I'll be quiet, Desmond.
My hand is raised.
All right. I'm writing you down right now, Desmond.
Awesome. I love the community integration in terms of employment theme there. So that's really awesome, Karyn. All right. Well, thank you. And we certainly look forward to working with you as we move along. So next we have Mika Pyyhkala, Director of the Digital Accessibility. He's Director of Digital Accessibility, and he leads the nationwide accessibility team at Envision's BVI Workforce Innovation Center. His team advises organizations on digital accessibility of websites, mobile applications, kiosks, documents, and other digital assets. Mika has served in several roles in advocacy, information technology, and technology civil rights. Prior to joining Envision, he served as an IT analyst at Partner Healthcare, where he focused on mainstream IT information technology. In addition, he supported Section 508 and WCAG accessibility initiatives. Mika also serves in the nonprofit sector on the executive board of both the Association of Blind Citizens and the National Federation of the Blind of Massachusetts. In these roles, he has focused on emerging technology, civil rights, and transportation issues. He has represented the blind community for several years at the Department of Transportation in the agency's Air Carrier, Access Act forums with an emphasis on technology and civil rights. He worked for the GoGo Air, one of the largest providers of in-flight Wi-Fi, to make the service accessible to blind travelers. Mika frequently presents at conferences such as CSUN, NFB, and to local organizations on the topics of accessibility, technology, civil rights, employment, and transportation. Mika, welcome.
Good evening, Desmond, and thanks for the warm introduction, and great to be with all of you in the College Success Program and students and friends and mentors of the program. Mary Alexander didn't mention it, but we're almost trading places today. I'm working from home today out of Boston, which is where I'm from, which is a real college town if there ever was one. And Mary's actually today in Wichita working out of my office. So I thought that was kind of funny for today that we're kind of in opposite places. And then about a week or so ago, I was in Dallas where Mary's based out of. But great to be with everybody tonight, and happy holidays as well. I wanted to just kind of give you a little bit more insights into some of the programs at the Workforce Innovation Center, or WIC as we call it, and just some of the specifics of what we do and the types of initiatives that are out there and how you can kind of get involved. So Karyn mentioned the key mission and goal for the Workforce Innovation Center is providing and opening up professional jobs for people who are blind and visually impaired. So Envision for 90 years has focused on these manufacturing jobs, but we also want to expand that out and create positions both internal and external to Envision and kind of this professional job path. So there's a couple different ways that we do that and kind of engage both with employers, other organizations, as well as potential employees. So let's start out with the directly in the Workforce Innovation Center. We operate a couple of different businesses. We sort of operate almost like a startup within Envision, which is again a 90-year-old company. So we operate a contact center, and we have positions for people making inbound and outbound calls in the contact center. And so through that, we're able to hire people who are blind or visually impaired. And we go out and get all types of contracts, whether it be doing technical support for a company, or right now we're working with a large government agency doing a public health survey. And we're actually, before Christmas, bringing on 2 more folks in the Wichita Contact Center. Then we also provide digital accessibility services, and anybody in the blind community is well aware of the need for digital accessibility. And I would say also, if anybody out there has websites, apps, or web services, or something that needs digital accessibility work, let us know. You can contact anybody in CSP and they'll get it routed to us. You don't necessarily have to worry, if you don't have our information, anybody in the CSP mentors or staff will be able to get the information. But then if you contact us with a site or an app that's not working, we can go to that company and try to help them make it more accessible. And it's always better to have a customer that wants to use that app, a customer or a stakeholder. It could even be your university. And to have a customer and stakeholder saying, I need this to be accessible, instead of us just going to them and saying, well, in general, you should make your digital assets more accessible, it's going to help us a lot if we have a customer. So again, that's one of the mini micro businesses that we operate. All of our digital accessibility analysts are blind and visually impaired and certified with things like the CPACC certification and JAWS certification. Like all these tech things, it's kind of an alphabet soup of acronyms. And even before the call, Desmond and I were just chatting about some mutual contacts that we have in the digital accessibility and advocacy world. So that was interesting. And we're looking into creating other businesses that, again, can primarily hire people who are blind and vision impaired and then sell services out to the broader community. So we've done well selling products, but this is kind of, we're selling services and business insights through the Workforce Innovation Center. And then as Karyn mentioned, the other thing we do is place people outside of Envision. So that could be in the government. We have a program where we place folks in the Air Force as well as other federal agencies. And we're talking to several different companies in financial services, IT security, and others about placement. And then the last thing that I'll mention that we do is kind of engagement and policy advocacy. So we're trying to make the world more accessible through policies in Washington and throughout the states. We have a podcast called the Accessible Toolbox Podcast, where we've done a number of episodes. Probably the biggest one is kind of doing a deep dive of Uber's features with iOS and VoiceOver. So some of the more advanced features that maybe everybody, whether they're blind or sighted, haven't really delved into if you're not the type of person that kind of goes through the app and looks at every little option. So those podcasts kind of explain that. And we're also advocating with Uber at the same time for better accessibility as we do that. We're also involved, as we mentioned, with a lot of the national conferences, both consumer organizations and things like the CSUN Technology Conference, job fairs. Karyn mentioned the Talent Network. So this Workforce Innovation Center initiative really blends well with College Success Program. And it's just, as was mentioned, when you graduate from college, you're going to most likely go on to the world of work and want to go on to the world of work. So that's the key area and mission of Workforce Innovation Center. So it works well. And we're just thrilled to have the students and mentees and mentors and the staff of the College Success Program on our teams. The staff, again, is virtual and works all over the country. And I work both from Boston and Wichita. When I started at the Innovation Center about 3 years ago, I actually commuted between Boston and Wichita every week. And now I'm in Wichita, let's say 1 to 2 weeks a month. So being able to stay in touch with all the activity on the East Coast and then get back to Wichita. And I had not really heard much about Envision or Wichita before I joined the organization about 3 years ago. And of course, at that time, the Workforce Innovation Center was just getting started. So it's a nimble organization. And again, great to meet all of you. Look forward to future virtual and in-person activities. And then I'll turn it back over to Desmond.
That's awesome. One question, Mika. So just kind of based on your experience with the Innovation Center and whatnot, what's one thing you would say is a crucial skill for folks to develop in terms of employment, be that technology or some soft skills? What would you say?
I mean, the tech skills are kind of a given, but I would also say kind of people who are blind or who have other disabilities are kind of innate problem solvers. And, we're natural at solving problems, and just being able to, I think self-advocacy is probably a really important skill of being able to identify what you need and then being able to get it, whether it be from your university or your employer or some other organization, and kind of knowing how to do that and how to advocate for that. And you know, you're probably already skilled in solving the problem, but kind of convincing other people, like,
I think we lost you, or you went on mute or something. Oh, Mika,
Desmond,
you there? Oh, did we
Desmond, it's
drop?
Mary. We need to be sure and circle around to Hannah before we run out of time for questions.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Mika, for that presentation about the Workforce Innovation Center, and great to have the CSP program partner. Okay, and last but certainly not least of our speakers, we'll hear from Hannah Christenson, who's Director of Community Programs at Envision. Hannah has a background in special education and previously worked as a teacher for Rainbow United, a Wichita-based IFSP service provider, performed educational transition plans. She joined Envision as a classroom teacher in Envision's Early Childhood Development Center, where she worked with blind, visually impaired, and typically sighted students. During her time at the center, a home-based services program was added to reach students unable to attend in person. She transitioned into the field work, where she coordinated visits for children and families and worked with case managers and service providers to establish community connections and resources. After receiving an additional degree in organizational leadership and program management, Hannah transitioned to Envision's Community Programs Department, where she currently serves as director. Being with Envision for over 11 years, Hannah has seen firsthand all the amazing things done and number of lives touched. She's met, interacted, and supported a wide spectrum of individuals, including infants, families, students, and senior citizens, all with varying degrees of vision loss. Hannah, welcome.
Thanks, Desmond. I'm so excited to be here and talk to you guys. When we first heard about Envision acquiring CSP, we were so thrilled to be able to start connecting with all of the individuals that participate and take advantage of CSP across the United States. So you've heard kind of briefly from Karyn, all of the different touch points that Envision has. And even in my time here, we've continued to add. When we see a need, we figure out how we can meet that need. So I'm going to share a little bit about Level Up, and Level Up really ties very closely with CSP. Level Up is our assistive technology program. And, you know, it's been around a while. We started off as an AT camp, and it began in 2006 with 4 high school seniors. So the program didn't just develop on its own. Bonnie Cochran, who had developed the program initially, was approached by teachers who said that their students who were blind or visually impaired weren't able to access all of their material in the classroom. And you got to think, now everybody has a computer in their pocket, right? A smartphone. In 2006, that wasn't the case. You know, people had to get all of their material transcribed. Sometimes it took a long time. Sometimes you didn't get the materials that you needed. And so with the Level Up program, students were encouraged to develop those assistive technology skills. And each year, as we progressed the program, we added additional students. We went from offering a day program with 4 high school seniors to now we are a national program. We have students that attend from across the United States. We've had students from Florida, Washington, DC, all the way to Washington State and anywhere in between. So the cool part about that is students are not only learning from our assistive technology professionals who come and help to present the curriculum, but they learn from each other. So as we've grown, we have also expanded the numbers of programs that we offer within Level Up. So Level Up is like an umbrella, and under Level Up, we've got the high school conference, we've got our middle school program, we've got our prep program for elementary schools. We offer a Level Up Studies where we can match you with a mentor to help with your schoolwork if you're needing that. We've got our monthly Level Up chat where students can get together and share what they're what's happening with them in their schools, where they might have a need for more resources. And they also have that important social connection where they can talk to each other. We keep everybody in the loop. That includes our past and present students, any teachers who have recommended students to the program, any of our facilitators or businesses who have joined us for the program, with our quarterly Level Up Connection newsletter. So we send those out and just keep everybody up to date. And so we're so excited for our January newsletter to talk about the acquisition of the College Success Program, to share that with all of the students, teachers, and connections that we have. Just briefly about the high school conference. All of our middle school and our high school programs are residential. So we stay on college campuses. Students learn that independence of staying in a dorm room. They navigate the campus by going to and from their classes. We eat in the campus diner so that they get that real experience of having to get their own food. So we really try to hone in on those social skills and the wayfinding skills, in addition to the assistive technology skills. We bring on inspirational speakers. One of our good friends, Jessica Loomer, she is an accessibility specialist for Spectrum Communications. She has come and presented not only as our keynote speaker, but she did a campus run with our students so that we can encourage that physical activity. We have our technology labs, which take place in the morning during our high school program. And students can choose from computer essentials. They can choose from a cybersecurity course. So we try to see what students are looking for, what types of experiences they want. And we work with the colleges and universities to help provide that experience. Our afternoon STEAM workshops include robotics, coding, mechanical engineering, performing arts, culinary arts. So we're trying to give students a wide variety of options to choose from. And because the program is progressive, they can start with us in elementary school and work their way all the way up to post-graduation of high school. We work on leadership skills, success skills, and interview skills with our College and Career Expo. So we try to hit on all of those things. And as Mary was talking about, going younger, it's a perfect bridge to between Level Up and College Success. So we're very excited to share about the program with the College Success members. If you guys know any students, teachers who you feel like would benefit from this program, you can contact us directly at programs@envisionus.com. You can look for more information about the Level Up program on our website, envisionus.com/level up. And we're happy to share about this with you, and you can reach out to us at any time. We hope to go live with our registration January 1. And as soon as that happens, all of that information will be on our website. So thanks so much for giving me this chance to share about Level Up and how it works so closely with CSP.
Okay, wonderful. What a great complementary program to CSP and so forth. So thank you very much, Hannah. Okay, So at this point, I believe we're going to move into our Q&A session. So we'd like to hear from you guys. Any questions you might have about our program, the College Success Program, or Envision in general. So at this time, we're going to ask you to you can either type your questions in the chat, and then or you can raise your hand to be acknowledged, and we'll acknowledge you to ask your question out loud. If you're on a Mac, I'll see if I can get this right. It's going to be Option Y to raise your hand. On a PC, it's going to be Alt Y. If you're anybody happen to be on a traditional phone line, it'll be *9. If you're on the mobile app, it's going to be on the more option. We're gonna and so Abigail is gonna help us out with the chat. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a little privilege to say Abigail has just been a wonderful colleague to work with during my time in the Envision program. She's gonna be leaving us pretty soon, and we're gonna miss her very much, but we're certainly cheering her on and know she's gonna go on to do great things. So with that said, Abigail, do we have any questions in the chat?
Yeah, thank you, Desmond. We had one question from Jerry earlier, I think while Mika had been speaking, and he had some questions about possible internships when people are looking to get various computer IT certifications. So I don't know if possibly Karyn or Mika can speak to what might be available for people that are looking for internship opportunities with Envision.
Yeah, either of you might have some information on that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would encourage you to get in contact with us, because we have the talent network, and part of that is internships, and we can likely give you some direct information or kind of get you resources in your state, but also as part of training initiatives within the Workforce Innovation Center, we're actually looking at providing some of those training programs such as Cisco, Salesforce, and other IT training. And a key part for us of developing these training programs is kind of figuring out what happens afterwards and how does the placement process work. So I think talking to you, will be really insightful for us, but we could also try to help you in finding an internship in that area. So I'd say to contact us offline and let's talk about it.
Is there a great general inbox? I can certainly I'll put our CSP email in the chat. Is there another direct mailbox for WIC, Mika?
I would say just for now to forward it to me. That we've used something like that but if you just get it in the CSP box, and then if you send it to me for this week anyway, that'll be the easiest thing to do. So just if you guys have questions, as Abigail just put in the chat, csp@envisionus.com is kind of the general mailbox, and then they'll forward it on to whether it be our group in digital accessibility or placement or Hannah's group.
And I also answered to Jerry in the chat. And so I'll just, in case you didn't see it, I was like, that's a great question. I love that question because interns and internships are near and dear to my heart. And internships are on our quote unquote to-do list. And specific to internships around those training platforms for CompTIA, and what else is Cisco CCNA certification. We haven't thought about it specific to that, but the reason internships are near and dear to my heart is because I think it is one of the most formative career builders that anyone can have. And so I think that having internships that Envision organizes or at Envision So not just employment opportunities, but internship opportunities is really, really important. And so when I say it's on our to-do list, I'm not, making stuff up for you. I'm like telling you, like, this is actually been part of our discussion. If you remember earlier, Mika said, like, working for the Workforce Innovation Center is like working for a startup inside a 90-year-old company. And that is absolutely true. So we actually operate the Workforce Innovation Center as a startup. So when I told you earlier during my remarks, and I said, hey, anyone have any ideas or feedback or want to help us? That was no joke. That was not, that was a real serious offer. That's how innovative companies actually work, is you kind of take, you're open to lots of suggestions and questions. So I hope that answered the question about the intern. So Jerry, email CSP and they'll get us the information, because we definitely want to keep in touch with you.
Excellent. And we have a question from Kennedy. I'm going to pass this one to Mary. What, if anything, changes for students in the CSP? Will the weekly meetups continue? Workshops, will they still be a part of the program? And will anything be added?
Great questions. Thank you for asking those, because I actually should have hit on that when I spoke earlier. No, so the really great thing about our joining with Envision is that we're not changing any of those great things that we all loved, like the meetups, like the summer workshops, but we want to add stuff to it, right? So we're talking about helping y'all find jobs. We're adding a page to our website where we're going to list jobs that as they come available at Envision, but also as they come available at other companies and organizations across the US. This will include internship postings. So as we find out about these, we're putting them on the website, and we want to help you be aware of these and to take advantage of them. So don't worry that any of your favorite pieces of the CSP are going to go away. It's all going to stay the same, but we're only going to get better.
Love that.
I think Jerry has his hand up, Desmond.
Okay, Jerry, if
Yes.
come off mute and yep.
Okay. The reason I'm asking the question about the internship, I was enrolled at LA Trade Tech College. Every time they offer their internship, they have an age requirement that I don't meet, because they're basically set their internships are for people 18 to 25, and I'm over 25. So I am currently still studying for my CompTIA certification and my Cisco CCNA certification, but I would love to find some place that I could also work in the intern so that I could get the actual hands-on experience while I'm still studying. And I'm a vet, but I'm definitely over 25 years old.
Jerry, it's Karyn Page. I really love it that you added that detail. I actually have found a couple of programs in the short time I've been hunting for those programs the last few months that have those age limits for like internship programs. So thank you for calling that to my attention.
Right.
So what I'm thinking, so here's what it's like to work with an entrepreneur. I'm thinking off the top of my head, when I'm thinking about internships, I do not care how old you are or how young you are. What I'm looking for are capabilities, educational background, skills, right? And so if we develop an internship program, it's going to be based around capability, skills, the strengths of the worker, and then matching those to what the employer needs. So Jerry, let's figure this out together. I think that the best thing is CSP email, and then it'll get to Mika, and because Mika's going to be your guy on this, but he'll talk to me whenever if he needs something from me.
Okay.
But I love it that you added that detail. It's fantastic.
Okay, I save the most of the time when I do Zooms, I save the chat so I can go back to it later. So I've saved it and I wrote his name down, so I will definitely be sending him an email very shortly.
Sounds great, Jerry.
All right, thank you very much, and I did enjoy this meeting.
Thanks,
Thank
Jerry.
you, Jerry, and thank you for your service. All right. We have, yep.
Oh, I was just going to say, skimming through the chat, I saw your question, Ashley, about the trainings. I think reaching out to us There's nothing currently on the books, but as you can tell, our group is very innovative and looking to create new opportunities for people to learn and gain skills. So please keep in touch with us. We also had some discussion in the chat about ways to get accessible materials. So Learning Ally audiobooks are still a part of the CSP membership for now, and also Bookshare. Let's see. I think that is all our questions in the chat. If folks, I'm just going to remind everyone, csp@envisionus.com is our general inbox. College Success BVI.org, College Success Bravo Victor Igloo.org is how you can get to our website. And Mary also mentioned in the chat, we're posting job listings there too. So that's a newer element with our partnership with Envision to kind of direct people to positions that they may have not been aware of.
And Abigail, this is Karyn again. I forwarded a job opening that came up last week to Mary, like on Thursday or Friday. It's for SQL. And okay, all I know is it's something to do with programming and data management and something, okay? And it has to do with tech. But since there's so many of the questions that have been around technology knowledge, anyone knows SQL? We need a SQL project manager, programmer, whatever it is over at Envision, like desperately. I just heard from someone today internally who was saying, we really need someone. We're kind of desperate. So anyone know anyone, send them our way. Anyone interested, apply.
Oh, what a great opportunity. Okay, well, we are just about on time. So
Fair.
I want to thank everyone for attending this webinar. I had a wonderful time talking with all our speakers and answering your questions. Certainly feel free to reach out to us, the College Success Program or Envision. Any questions you might have, we're here for you.
And real quick before we wrap up, I think Hannah has a closing comment. I see your hand raised, Hannah.
Yes, sorry guys, I just wanted to give everybody a quick heads up. So any of the jobs that are posted at Envision does help with relocation. So if you have an interest in any of the jobs or positions that are currently open at Envision, I don't want you to feel that because you might live in a different part of the country, that that's not something that's available to you. Envision does work very hard with the employees, and the recruiters are amazing. They will work with you not only in relocation, but once you get here with orientation and mobility and navigation so that you can feel comfortable and confident in your position here. So I just wanted to throw that out because Karyn mentioned that job that was available, that is a genuine practice that Envision does for any employees that are coming in from out of state.
Good point,
Where's
Hannah. Thank
Envision
you.
located?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where is Envision located? What city?
So Envision is located in Wichita, Kansas, and then we've also got a location in Dallas, Texas, formerly the Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind. And then additionally, there are 16 base supply stores across the country that are part of our Envision Express network, where we do retail sales on Air Force bases.
Okay. That is awesome. Definite perks that would grab my attention if they're looking for a job. Okay, well, thanks everyone again. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. And everyone have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Desmond.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great week.